Hi, my name is Bryan Hopkins. I am a potter because I honestly don't know what else I could do with my life. It's one of the very few things that I'm actually passionate about. I truly believe that the handmade object has a transformative effect on a person who is using the piece, as well as me as a maker, knowing that that piece is being used by somebody on a regular basis and that it is positively affecting their life in some way. The most difficult thing I do in my studio is change a form. Changing a form that's been selling well, when you're counting on that to pay your mortgage, to pay for your son's daycare, that's a big thing to want to make that leap of faith that you're going to change a form, you're going to change a texture, and I want to believe that people will follow me in my journey as an artist, as a potter. But you're never really sure. So if I make a change and nobody's going to appreciate that the way that they appreciated my older work, that can be a big issue. So what I like about using these molds is that I can duplicate existing textures, and to me that's kind of cool, and it makes porcelain, to me, a more relatable material. I just have this real passion for using porcelain. Most people have a relationship with porcelain that might be a little bit different. That might be what the family ate off of at gatherings, and you had to graduate from the kids' table to the adult table to use that stuff that was in grandma's china cabinet. So it was always precious. And from the beginning, from Europeans' knowledge of porcelain being imported from China, it's always been precious, and it's been for nobility. It hasn't been for working class people. I grew up in a working class family, and I love porcelain. So it's like, how do you make that yours? And part of what I like about this is that to me it humanizes porcelain. And it also, I'm adding these textures that surround me in my everyday life, textures that I really value. And also I can incorporate textures like this. This is what a MakerBot prints out, a 3D printer prints out, and I just happen to love that texture. And I use a lot of different textures, as you may know. I get all these great textures, and you can take texture off of anything that you want. I think that one of the important things, though, is to start with a blank canvas for yourself. So a lot of people, when they roll out slabs, they roll them out on a textured surface of some sort, usually a canvas table or a piece of plywood. What pouring that slab allows you to do is just have a completely blank canvas. So it's completely void, and you just build up off of that. You don't have to worry about erasing that canvas texture, because that's always a pain. Why I like using porcelain is that it's translucent, and that differentiates it from any other clay out there. I think it makes it a lot more sexy, just that sheerness that you get. And I don't think there's any problem with the cup having a little sex appeal to it. The other thing I like about the translucency is that it implies that the piece is really fragile. And that in itself just causes someone to really consider how they use the cup. And in that slowing down, it actually allows you to just contemplate that experience of just, drinking. I didn't come to making pots because I needed a job. Okay, I came to making pots because it's something I needed to do, like inside of me. Okay, so from the moment that I touched clay ever in my life, when I was in college, it just made sense to me. And then it was like, okay, so what can I do to make this mine and to make a living out of it? Yeah, some people say it's a choice, but sometimes it's not a choice. I'm not under the illusion that I'm going to change the world with a cup, but if I can just enhance someone's daily existence, let someone else know that they think like someone else, that is where the power of change can be with a cup that I can make. And so these pieced together pieces were inspired a lot by barns around where I live in Western New York. There are a lot of the barns that I ride past on my bike. They're working barns. People go to great lengths to keep those barns in a working order, and they'll patch things in. It'll look like a barn's falling down sometimes, and then you see a farmer actually like driving a tractor out of it, and it's a pretty neat thing in how those old barns get pieced together to maintain a workability. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is just piecing things together. I like to think that they're really relatable, that it makes someone actually want to touch it. And I think that cups are one of those things too, and any handmade object that's made out of clay is really instantly relatable to us as people, because we've been using objects made out of clay for tens of thousands of years. And you can't tell me that has not made it into people's psyche. When I see people walk into anywhere where there's utilitarian objects being displayed, that they go right up to those pieces and they touch them. It doesn't matter if it's a museum or a gallery or my house. They go right in, and you're not supposed to touch stuff in a museum, but someone's going to touch that cup, man. Someone's going to want to hold that pitcher by its handle and feel the weight of that thing. So I think that's a really, that's kind of what I want to do. I want people to touch my work. I want people to play with it, as well as use it. And so you'll see, this is that, it's called either a stage or a raft, that for the MakerBot. And I kind of like that juxtaposition of something ultra modern, something actually that most people have never seen before, in as far as like a high-tech reference, integrated with something people are really familiar with, which is wood grain. That seems to resonate with a lot of people, wood grain. I can use shadow as my color. And I've always had a love of black and white photography. And I think that what I love about black and white photography is what I love about that aspect of using light and shadow for the color and visual weight for the pot. So, just going to turn this right side up like that. So I can grab that real easy and just pull that straight up out of there. And if you were sitting where I'm sitting right now, you'd be able to see the light passing through the wall of that cup, which again is pretty sexy stuff. So, and then looking at, like, if you were to look in from the inside or look out from the inside, you can really see that light coming through that wall. And that is my cup.